Hello, everyone. I've had some questions about code example with people and friendships. In particular, navigating the assignments restriction that a grade should be updated if it exists and a new value is entered into the grade book. So, first off, let's look at the code as it was. I have modified it slightly, but as far as a user is concerned, a student in the gradebook application you're writing, or a person in this example, that behavior is built in by setting the primary key to true, the name field. So there can only be one instance of person with a given name. If there's more than one, that violates the uniqueness requirement of the primary key. So if I add a person, if I add a person and then use that same name with a different age, that person's entry is up. Still one person only. There aren't two Bobs, one that's 33 and one that's -11. Bob's entry has been updated. Its age is now -11. I unfortunately don't have ages in my template. So let's add that quick. People is just name. It is people is just name. No, so be it. For this example, this isn't the important part. Now that I have two people, I could add a friendship. Now, in the previous version of this code, I could have added as many friendships from Bob to Janet as I wanted. Each one of them would have been different. Now I've added a timestamp, and that's Greenwich Mean Time. That's time in England right now. In Python, there's a predetermined way of adding your time zone to any timestamp. So timestamps are always on Greenwich Mean Time, and you impose your time zone after the fact. So ignoring that the time is 6 hours ahead, there's a timestamp on a friendship from Bob to Janet. Now, if I submit a friendship from Bob to himself, it's its own timestamp. I have updated the code so that if I now submit a friendship from Bob to Janet, it doesn't create another one with a newer timestamp. It updates the existing one with a new timestamp. And the code for this is really pretty easy. previously, my code retrieved from the form the first person, the name of the first person in a friendship, the name of the second person in a friendship, and then no matter what, it always created a new friendship object. I've changed that code. So first, I try to retrieve a friendship from the database with the given information. Is there a friendship in the database with the first named person and the second named person? If so, retrieve that and set link equal to that existing object from the database. Now, maybe there isn't one. If there is no such friendship, this will throw an exception, which will cause my code to execute the except block. All right, if one doesn't already exist, then I'll create one. For debugging purposes, I was printing except, and you can see that did get printed out each time a new item was made. So one's for Bob, one's for Janet. And so there doesn't already exist this Bob or Bob Janet friendship in the database. So we create a new one, create a brand new friendship object, and set the first person and second person of that friendship. And then whether I retrieved an object from the database or created a brand new object, link now points to an object. I will save that object in either event. This code guarantees that there won't be any duplicate friendships. And when a friendship with duplicate information is saved, the new data is updated in the existing object with the existing key value. Now, I didn't need to change the model to make it work this way, but to ensure in my database schema that it is guaranteed that a friendship with a given first and a given second person is unique. The database protects this. I've added to my model a constraint. So inside of my friendship class, I added an inner class definition, and that class must be named meta. This is a mechanism Django uses to describe special behaviors about a standard class. And we'll see this again when we look at model forms. So in this case, I'm setting the constraints of the container class. And there's lots of different kinds of constraints. The only one I'm using here is uniqueness. And I'm requiring that, taken together, the fields first and second must be unique within the class. And though I never use it, Django requires that we name this constraint. So I'm just calling it friends. Now, if I didn't put that in there, my code would work exactly the same. This adds protection in the database to make sure that through the admin panel or through some other form that interacts with the application, it's impossible to violate this uniqueness constraint within the database. So when I run my migrations and create the tables, the constraint of uniqueness is imposed. So that's it. I hope that answers the questions I've been getting about how to ensure that you're not getting multiple grade entries for one position in the gradebook, that you are instead updating the existing